Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining. Quick note before we begin, there is no option to ask questions throughout this seminar and webinar. So I've added a Google Hangout link to the invite. And after this session, for the 30 minutes that follow, I will be on that Google Hangout and will be available to ask any questions for 30 minutes after the event. Apologies in advance. All right, let's get started. Hello, and welcome to Snapchat's Creative Best Practices for Direct Response. I'm Sean from the Creative Strategy team, and I'll be walking you through insights to help make your creative the most successful on Snapchat. I'll be focusing on two ad products, Snap Ads and Story Ads. Snap Ads will be about 90% of the material, and Story Ads will be about 10%. Given it's our newest product, we're still gathering insights to compile deeper best practices, but we'll have some top-line items for you to keep in mind. Let's get started. If you ever have any questions, please contact your Snapchat sales rep. At Creative Strategy, we're always looking at business objectives with a solutions-first approach. This gives us the power to deliver creative insights that work for your goals. There are three key questions you need to answer before you begin creating creative for Snapchat. The first, what is your overall objective? Is it app install, and within that, is it installs or an action such as return on ad spend? Is it e-commerce or lead gen? This will help you pick the format and creative messaging on Snap Ads that fits your objective. The second, what is your value proposition? Like all content on Snapchat, ads are viewed and skipped by user choice. This means you are competing for attention with other brands, publishers, influencers, and friends. Snapchatters make up their mind on stories, ads, and snaps they want to view quickly, so as a brand, we need to create instantly impactful creative. The best way to do this is to distill your value proposition down and make your ads easy to understand. The third, how are you measuring your ads? Ensure you know your goals. This could be cost per action, cost per lead, and this will help you refine creative for this focused approach. Ensure you know the measurement solutions that can help you understand, optimize, and scale your best creative. So what is your value proposition? As we said, the best way to have success is by focusing on your value proposition and bringing it to life in a compelling way. But first, what's so special about Snap Ads? To understand the product, it's important to understand the user behavior in which the ads will run. Let's take a look at some organic snaps. Pretend these are your friends and you're taking a quick glance at what they're up to.
Mom.
All right, pop quiz. Try to remember where your friend was in the first snap. You likely guessed at the beach, which is correct. And final question, who was performing in the last snap? I'm sure you guessed Chance the Rapper, which is correct. What's crazy about this is that each of those snaps were only 2 seconds, yet you were able to absorb and recall so much information in such a short amount of time. This is because we intentionally open to the camera so people can capture their everyday life right then, versus building up to a big moment. Otherwise, you might miss it. Because of this, content doesn't usually have a build-up. Snappers get straight to the point. These snaps were created with only 2 seconds in length, but still delivered a short, memorable story in that period. What this means is that you'll see better results for your brand if you talk to Snapchatters in that same way. Let's see how. We've come a long way in a short space of time, from 60-second TV ads to forced digital video views to the best mobile ad products, which are pioneered by Snapchat. Like consumer behavior has evolved, the blueprint to creativity and the playbook has changed too. Let's take a look at that now. And first, let's understand what is a Snap Ad. What are the elements? The top snap, first we have, is the 3 to 10 second video or photo ad that can run in a variety of formats. See the Hubble creative here. So that was a top snap, and now we have what is called the attachment. A user is swiping up into the mobile website right here in this example for Hubble. Next, let's take a look at what makes a Snap Ad both different and more impactful. First, unlike a newsfeed, which, as you can guess by its name, was built off of a reading-based architecture. Like a newspaper, you're reading many parts of the page. With Snap Ads, you have the full screen canvas with sound on. It's much more akin to a cinema or a TV ad. The key takeaway from this slide is that you need to take the key components from the newsfeed creative template and put those into the actual Snap Ad creative itself. we recommend front-loading these key messages within the first 2 seconds.
Swipe up and start watching the games for 7 days free.
Upon analyzing many campaigns that have run on the platform, we've identified the top 4 golden rules for success. To summarize, before going deeper into detail with examples, those 4 are: first, build top snaps for less than 5 seconds. Remember how quickly people are able to absorb and understand your messaging. Second, keep your objective in mind. If you're wanting people to swipe up and install your app, make sure it's clear when making your ads. If you want them to buy a product, show that product front and center from the beginning. Third, feature a singular message. I'm sure there's many of reasons why a Snapchatter should install your app or buy your product, but we see Snap ads perform best when you focus on one of those value props per Snap ad creative. Make a variety of Snap ads to showcase all of the amazing value props, but avoid cramming all of those into just one Snap ad. And fourth and last, use purposeful sound design. Over 60% of Snapchatters have sound on, so use this incredibly powerful tool to your benefit. Now let's dive deeper into each golden rule. On mobile, we think driving action means being able to run instantly impactful creative where it's fun to take action. Because our audience is paying so much attention to our full-screen, sound-on mobile platform from the very beginning, make sure you jump straight into your content and include a call to action. Avoid building up to an end card moment at the back half of a Snap ad like a traditional TV spot. Most actions on mobile are taken quickly. Pop quiz. What is this app about? What value does it provide the user? And what is the action the advertiser would like you to take? It's hard to gather that from the first seconds of this ad until the end card comes on. What we would recommend is to incorporate our best practices and have a compelling copy line,
Swipe up, start saving up.
an on-screen call to action, brand logo, and sound design from the beginning. This ad is optimized for immediate brand awareness and driving the desired action, in this case, app install. Second, keep your objective in mind. Define your front-end or back-end benchmarks and KPIs early. Our front-end stats, like swipe-up rates, views, impressions, are just directional indicators of direct response success. Back-end numbers are the source of truth. Creative hugely influences the success of 4 key DR objectives for advertisers. The first, drive app install. Many verticals are seeing success when creative best practices are followed here. The second, driving mobile app engagement. Use deep link attachment to re-engage users. This is great for advertisers that sell within their app and drives Snapchatters directly to that anchor within their app. The third, driving web traffic and conversions. Recommended for brands trying to drive actions on their website. And the last, driving lead gen as a goal. Use WebView attachment to gain leads. Now let's see these in greater detail with example. For app install, there's a few quick wins for all creative. Visually demonstrate your value proposition to make it simple for people to get what you do. Always include a strong call to action early, such as play now for a game or install now for an app. If it helps to illustrate what your app looks like, this can help inspire action. And finally, reinforce your visual call to action with a voiceover, such as swipe up to install now, which works for most apps. And this shows it swiping up directly into the App Store. For app re-engagement, it's very similar. The key difference here is to make sure your top Snap creative aligns directly with where the user will be taken within your app. For example, if you're promoting a specific sale within your app, be sure that's communicated in the top Snap, but also the deep link takes them straight there when they do swipe up.
Swipe up to get anything delivered.
For e-commerce, we're here to help you drive sales. Measurement is so important. Track your creative highlights with the Snap Pixel. Align your top Snap and your Snap ad creative with your landing page. This will help the Snapchatter feel like they're in the right place and help you bring them in your site in the most seamless way possible. If you have a strong offer or a hero product, make sure you highlight these visually and in the messaging. And finally, reinforce your visual call to action with a voiceover, such as Swipe Up to Shop Now, which works for many e-commerce brands. Let's watch some examples.
Swipe up to start now.
And last, for lead gen, be single-minded about the offer. What are you wanting people to sign up for? Is it a great offer or a subscription? Make sure to dial up the value. Align the landing page with the Top Snap creative to help simplify the journey and use the fewest amounts of forms you can make the experience as seamless as possible for the Snapchatter. Try using our autofill functionality. There's up to 5 fields which we can fill, including name, email, and mobile. This makes it very seamless for a user to take action. Lastly, a voiceover always helps to reinforce the offer. Let's watch some examples. The third golden rule is to feature a singular message. Creative that features a clear offer early on can help drive action. Here's a great example. And the fourth and final golden rule for Snap Ads is to use purposeful sound design to drive action. This could be highly produced soundtracks, ambient noises, and voiceovers to bring your ad to life. Over 60% of users have sound on, so this makes a great chance to bring your ad to life. Use voiceovers, soundtracks, and use those to really help the ad cut through.
Swipe up to hear superior Bluetooth speakers.
Now, with Snap Ads, choose this format that suits your objective, whether you want to create a 5-second video narrative, a GIF-like looping animation, a still with audio, or a cinemagraph, or anything else you can dream up. One thing we definitely recommend, though, is making your Snap Ad 5 seconds or less for maximum impact. So picking your format. There's no silver bullet here, so testing matters most. When possible, try a few variations of each of these and see what works best for your brand. Pro tip, use a voiceover with a swipe up call to action and soundtrack. Stills and GIFs, like print ads, stills and GIFs make it easy to showcase products and to visually communicate the call to action and offer. Whereas videos and cinemagraphs, like movies, short form, and compelling, can be effective drivers of broad emotional cut through and action. Just remember, front load the brand and offer and call to action. Here's some great examples.
Hey guys, it's me, Vanessa Simmons. Swipe up right now to shop my exclusive Shoe Dazzle collection. Hey guys!
Swipe up to install Shutterfly now. Swipe up to install Shutterfly now.
So with all of those formats, templates can help you test and learn which format works for your brand, as well as help you scale creative production to be more efficient. Here's a sample template that can help advertisers produce many assets fast, scale creative winners quickly, and rotate new creative in when efficiencies drop. Great example from Poshmark. These templates allowed them to quickly make iterations for specific seasons, locations, sales, audiences, and more.
Swipe up to install Poshmark and shop now. Swipe up to install Poshmark and shop now.
Templates can also make hyperlocation targeted ads easy to produce. Here in Postmates, you can see local restaurants are featured with the city name. By using a template, it makes it easy for them to scale out these creative variations. Now let's talk about some production styles you can test out. On Snapchat, there are many different types of production styles ranging from user-generated content to highly produced shows. Characters and conversations. Build content that personally connects the viewer and characters, similar to how friends are talking to each other. Consider opening talent with talent speaking to camera, or conversing with another character to entice the viewer to swipe up for more.
What award would you give me? The worst friend award. Now it's your turn to see what your friends would give you. Swipe up to play now.
Hey guys, I just got my FabFitFun spring box in the mail. I'm so excited. Swipe up to get yours.
Or take it out of selfie mode and film outward. This is also a great way to lean in on the native user experience on Snapchat.
Stop giving your money to big braces. Save 60% on a smile you'll love with invisible aligners from Smile Direct Club. Swipe up. Up.
On Joyride, we're playing live trivia with real cash prizes every single day. See you there.
Another way to think native when building creative is by incorporating native tools, like emojis, doodles, Helvetica text, as well as considering one scene for the first 2 seconds. This mimics the way that people are creating content on Snapchat and feels in line with the platform. Scene-relevant creative that fits within its surroundings is likely to see greater success and encouraging swipe-up odds.
Swipe up to shop your favorite brands now.
If awareness is a challenge, consider showcasing the app in use. This is particularly helpful for new apps, so users immediately recognize that it is an app. You can also test out full-screen UI and see what drives better performance. We've seen success with either approach, so test what works best for your brand. Creative learning agendas are a great way to understand what works and what doesn't work for your brand on Snapchat. Purposefully build campaigns with clear business objectives and single-minded messages. Always ask, what do we want to learn from this campaign to make us smarter for the next? Select testing criteria, one of 3, creative, targeting, or buy model. Hold the other 2 constant, and run structured multi-cell tests you can understand and measure which variation drives the most impact. Let's take a look at an example of a testing agenda. A learning agenda should isolate key creative features so you can learn what is working and then scale that. Here's a sample where a brand has focused on copy tone, location, different types of text, and whether or not to show the app in use. That's it for Snap Ads. Now let's talk about our newest ad product, Story Ads. As mentioned earlier, this is our newest ad product, so we're actively gathering insights on campaigns that have run to build robust best practices like you've seen with Snap Ads. But here are some top-line recommendations for creative. Story ads live on the right side of the app, which we call Discover. This is where Snapchatters go to see what their friends are up to, the community, their favorite celebrities and influencers, news publishers, TV networks, and more. Story ads allow your brand to tell your story in a similar opt-in manner. Here are some recommendations for how to create compelling tiles that entice the user to tap in and engage. Tease informational, entertaining reward in a digestible format, such as top 7 products to step up your game, 8 reasons you can't miss X, and best ways to save money with this app. Also, tease informational, entertaining reward and urgency tied to relevant days or seasons, such as top 7 products to make this summer the best summer yet, you can't miss X this summer, and how this app makes your summer better. Don't lack a curiosity gap by giving away too much information or lacking intrigue to tap in. Product X is the best. Product X is here. Product X makes your summer better. Include the how and the why and a top list of those to make people curious about more information from your brand. And finally, don't use clickbait that doesn't deliver in the story, such as celebrity X uses this product every day with no proof or association with that celebrity. Or 10 ways this app helps you lose 300 pounds, and then the story content is unrelated to the tile claim or doesn't support the claim. When people tap into the story and it doesn't match the tile that they were introduced to, we'll see that they'll drop out very quickly because it doesn't deliver on what was promised to them. As for the story, follow these recommendations. First, leverage mixed media types to keep the story dynamic. When it makes sense, test out different formats, short-form videos, cinemagraphs, and stills, whatever you think is best to keep the content flowing and your narrative consistent throughout. Discover content like Our Stories, Publisher Editions, and shows offer production styles ranging from UGC videos to magazine-style articles to TV shows. Draw inspiration from these and test out various production styles to see what's driving the most results for your brand. Use direct style address in the narrative. Talking to camera in UGC can look like a user story on Snap. Include native elements when possible. And also, narrating the story can keep the user engaged while driving them through the content. Again, very similar to the Discover style content that we see on our platform. Align with your main KPI. If you value story completion rates, don't add attachments early in the story. If you value swipe ups, add those early in the story, and make sure each snap in the story follows our Snap Ad best practices to drive that swipe up. If you have a large amount of snaps in your story, consider how long it would take a user to complete. Make sure its length is aligned with our Discover partners to feel native to the platform. And finally, jump right into the content. As mentioned, since a Snapchatter opted in for your story from your compelling tile, you should cut straight to the content. No need for an introduction, especially when that information was communicated in your tile. And finally, let's talk about some ways to begin producing creative for your ads on Snapchat. There's 3 options. First, you can work with a certified external partner like VidMob to produce campaigns for your brand. The full list can be found on our partners page on our business website. Second, you can work with your internal creative team or external creative agency if you have one. And last, you can use our proprietary video editing software called Snap Publisher. Let's show you a little bit more about that. We've introduced a powerful new way to create Snap ads from scratch, and we call it Snap Publisher. Snap Publisher is part Final Cut, part After Effects, allowing you to create and optimize Snap ads in hours, not days. It takes less than 2 minutes to create your ad, your first snap, and you can even use Snap Publisher with Ad Manager to try out several kinds of creative to see what's resonating. If you don't want to begin from scratch and you need some guidance, try out some of our new direct response templates. You can use the drop-down objective menu and figure out which of these templates are best for driving action for your brand and your specific KPIs. Again, if you have any questions, please reach out to your Snapchat sales rep. This concludes Snapchat's creative best practices for direct response for Snap ads and story ads. We can't wait to see what ads you make for your brand. I'll now be jumping over to the Google Hangout. If you have any questions, please dial into that, which I've included in the invite updated this morning. Thank you.